Here we see the Great Sand Dunes National Monument within the San Luis Valley of Colorado, home of Johannine Grove and Crest In The Stone Mystery School. The Mystery School is located in the Baca Grande, next to the small mountain town of Crestone at 8,000-foot elevation, right at the foot of the 14,000-foot Sangre de Cristo mountain range. Sangre de Cristo means the blood of Christ, and to the best of our knowledge, these mountains were named for an effect that is witnessed occasionally where the entire range turns blood red near sunset, a most exquisite sight to behold. This is an area which abounds with spiritual centers, retreats, and sacred places. We'll have a brief look at a few of them. Here we see the ziggurat, a spiral tower used in the Middle East for a calling to prayer. The views from the ziggurat are extraordinary. This is a place where many souls are drawn to walk the sacred spiral pathway up its tower. We are told the ziggurat was built by a young man whose love had left him for another. His family then allowed him to build this magnificent structure in her honor. Thoth tells us that the ziggurat sits upon a sacred energy portal to the inner earth and connects directly to the center of the earth with Glastonbury's Tor. Here we have the Haidakandi Universal Ashram. This is an earth-ship structure built out of recycled tires and aluminum cans and nestled into the earth. On the grounds of the ashram is the Babaji Temple and the Temple to the Divine Mother. This is the Haidakandi Babaji, focus for the Haidakandi Ashram. A Habit House. Unique alternative building structures abound in the Baca. The Lindisfarne Chapel and Dome is one of the most beautiful and impressive structures in the Baca. Its sacred geometric construction is awe-inspiring. The energy and acoustics within the dome are incredible. In just a moment, we will witness some sacred chants done by Maya in an ancient language Thoth calls the Alaway. He informs us it was the first language ever spoken upon the earth. Here at the Nada Hermitage, the Carmelites are a mystical order under the Roman Catholic Church. However, their unique philosophy is quite different than that of the Church. Exemplary of that philosophy, Sister Connie of the Carmelites has been quoted as saying that they believe their mission is to become as fully human as possible, because when we are fully human, then we are already divine. This is their exquisite chapel. The beautiful stained glass depicting scenes of compassion. The unique crucifix depicts Christ with his eyes open and smiling as he embraces the glory of the Father in his last moments of humanity. Here we see some hermitages on the desert used for retreats. This is a Tibetan stupa, one of 2 in the Baka, and one of 11 of its lineage in the world, each one containing the ashes of a Tibetan leader in that lineage. This is the quiet little mountain town of Crest Town. The town was originally a mining town, but is now a peaceful home for about 60 people right next to the Baka Grande estates. North Crestone Creek flows right through the town of Crestone.
I recognize myself as one with the living stream of the divine creative force in the universe. I visualize this living stream as a perpetual river of love, beauty, and light, eternally quickening my heart and rejuvenating my mind, body, and spirit. I know that I am being received, nurtured, and uplifted by the divine river of God.
This little log cabin is the current home for Johannine Grove and the Crest in the Stone Mystery School. We sit at 8,000 feet elevation in the Rockies, nestled amongst groves of pinyon pine, ponderosa pine, and juniper, where hummingbirds grace the skies as numerous as butterflies. We are blessed with the presence of ample wildlife including deer, elk, coyote, bighorn sheep, antelope, bear, and cougar. Here we see the Rose Mystica World Altar within the Mystery School cabin. Many of the sacred objects, crystals, stones, and talismans upon the altar are from various sacred places around the world. Others have also been on specific sacred journeys and used in ceremonies at power places and sacred temple sites all over the earth.
Come forth from the forehead of the woman of the sun. Respond to her quickening of the precious bead of light. For that which has been undone will be accomplished through her gift, the pearl of she who is birthing the sun. From the cavern of the Most Holy the day will be born. He stands in the wake of his mother and in the midst of his father, like a holy tree of the fig, the fruit of eternal life.
We'll take a journey into some of the images and archetypes which grace the Mystery School's walls.
Thou hast been received into thy quarters of the earth, from whence ariseth the eagle's flight. On unbound wing doth receive the night. All manner of life imparts grace to thee, as thy quest rings the moon's birth with the colors of the initiate's robe, the silver and violet satin, mist weaved in golden rope, and tears of pearls, set in the rushing light of the Master's crystal lamp.
These are the temple doves Helios and Vesta. They were named after the two great cosmic beings who crossed their rays to form our solar sun. Thoth tells us that these doves are infused with the energies of some unique beings called the Samurdai. The Samurdai are pure tongues of living flame, and together they link to form the holy corona around our sun. All who pass into the presence of these doves receive the blessing of the Samurdai.
And there shall be memorials mighty of their handiworks upon the earth, leaving dim trace behind when cycles are renewed.
Well, it's been an amazing journey here at your mystery school and walking the land and seeing your wolf, and I've had an amazing time and I feel right at home. And I was wondering if you can share more about yourself personally.
Thank you. Well, for me, I began my work as a source translator, which is a form of channel, 31 years ago. I was a teenager then, and it's been a really amazing journey for me. In 1977, I began communicating with the one who is truly the organizer of our grove right now, and that is Thoth, our benefactor. Yeah?
Yes, my spiritual awakening and path took me down being the path of a healer, and I came into contact with Maya in 1994 after I'd moved to Crest Town, which was the culmination of a series of rather very powerful events that had happened for me spiritually. And shortly thereafter, we began our work together and co-founded the Johannine Grove and Crest In The Stone Mystery School organization. And that brings us to this moment now.
And your relationship together has really held a lot of space for creating all of this, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. The relationship between Maya and I is based upon an esoteric principle of bringing the fire and water together. I am, in my astrology, principally fire, and Maya is principally water. And the true mystic marriage is said to be effected through the merging of the fire and water elements. So when you bring these two together, it creates what is esoterically called the molten sea, which is the way the aura looks when one has actually brought these elements together within their own being. So our sacred marriage is establishing an envelope of consciousness for all of the consciousness that Thoth wishes to transmit to the world through the Johannine Grove and the Machanim organization.
What are some of the main universal principles revealed to you by Thoth?
Thoth has spoken to us of the three millenniums, which is the past, present, and future, essentially. We won't go into details as to where they break down in terms of the reign of each millennium, but the ancient knowledge of the past must be brought forward into the future and linked through the present, through our present experience, in order for the ascension to truly occur. One of the ways that the work of Johannine Grove and the Crest In The Stone Mystery School is oriented toward that purpose is through Akashic investigation, which is one of Maya's outstanding abilities. She's guided into the Akashic records, specifically the higher Akashic records, because there are two different realms. And she is able to bring forth ancient sacred knowledge from the past. Most of this knowledge comes from a repository established in the higher Akashic fields of the earth by Thoth, and it's called the Records of Thoth. This is kind of like a database, and whenever the timing is right on the planet, they bring forth the pure files or the pure records of the past, and they reinsert them into the planetary mind. In this way, the knowledge base can be updated or upgraded at various intervals, and this is certainly one of the intervals on the planetary experience that needs to occur. Maya, would you speak to us on planetary transformation and ascension dynamics as it relates to the work of the Grove?
Yes, well, Thoth has been giving us information on what this planet is going to experience when we move through the portal of ascension, or what everyone is calling ascension. And it's really been fascinating. It talks about the various stages that we will go through and what individuals will experience, types of individuals, different consciousness zones. It's really beautiful. So we look forward to receiving more information. It seems like each time he gives us a little more and a little more. And in this next issue of Temple Doors, we're going to be profiling what it's like on the other side, what Thoth calls the New Earth Star consciousness.
Yes, and one of the very key components of the whole Earth Ascension that Thoth keeps reiterating to us is what he calls the Heart Ascension. He tells us that the Heart Ascension, or the opening of the heart and opening of heart consciousness, unconditional love, compassion, those types of things, really must be accomplished to a high enough degree on the planet for the very large planetary ascension to occur. He tells us that this is the point where we really must focus our energies and attention at this time. Congruent with that, an underlying basis of knowledge that is kind of woven throughout all of the mystery school material is knowledge of the half-light and the full-light spectrum, or what Thoth calls the orotron, which is half-light, and the metatron, which is full-light. It's not that the half-light spectrum is evil or bad, it's simply incomplete. And this is where the Earth has been for quite some time, is in the half-light spectrum, although each of us as human beings have genetic codes that will take us into the full light, and they're activated again through the heart ascension. So we have teachings that are based upon this principle, and it really forms kind of the core of everything else we do.
Mm-hmm. And you all share a relationship with Thoth, obviously. Can we hear a little bit about him?
Maya, maybe it would be best if you share first, because you're the one who's had the most intimate relationship with him for the longest period of time.
Well, as I said, he began to make himself known to me in 1977, although I had been working with what we call ultra-terrestrials, the higher consciousness beings, since 1967. Actually, since my childhood, but 1967 was when they began to truly work with me seriously. And Thoth came in 1977. And since that time, it has been quite a developing relationship. He is someone who is obviously a very high spiritual master, and yet I find a sense of humor with him, a sense of true heart-centeredness in a very human way. It's as if he's able to bring forth what humanity is truly all about. We tend to think of masters as being above all of that, but Thoth generates the vibration of the true humanity, and that's very heartwarming.
Just to clarify, is he an ascended master?
No, he actually calls himself an Enochian master. And the main difference that he has expressed to us is that an Enochian master, at least, is not ascended. He is still in a physical body, but it's of a much higher radiant form. And an Enochian master carries the charge for the planet without becoming involved in it karmically. Whereas an ascended master, their position is to ascend that energy into another realm.
Right. To further clarify, Thoth tells us he's never had karmic involvement with the planet, and there's been some very special dispensations given for that to actually have occurred. So in his embodiments on the Earth, while he was actually embodied within Earth genetics, he had a strong enough component of star genetics present and always shielded by other beings to help him maintain his higher envelope of light at all times. Whereas the Ascended Masters, they have actually taken karmic involvement with the planet. This was part of their purpose, so that they could blaze a trail into the higher realms out of this world, while Thoth was really holding an envelope of where they were returning to help hold that frequency for them. So he actually refers to his embodiment as a cosmogenic embodiment within the inner earth. And he calls himself a grand illuminari rather than an ascended master. And he holds certain knowledge forms from the star system of Orion, as well as from the ancient sacred knowledge of the inception of this planet. A lot of that is stored, as we said, in the record of Thoth, which we work with that record and bring forth that information and knowledge. My personal relationship with Thoth, of course, started many eons ago, but in this lifetime, my awareness of it happened when I met Maya, and at this point I have to say it's very hard for me to actually believe that he's not here in physical embodiment in the third dimension with us, because he has been such an incredible soul guide, mentor, and actual just a light brother to me that it brings tears to my eyes just to talk about it, because I know that I could not be spiritually where I am today if it would not have been for his guidance. I know that I had brought myself to a place of offering myself to service to make this possible, and yet I must acknowledge that his influence has been a very prominent factor in my life. At times it's been very difficult because aspects of my lesser self kind of buck the tide, so to speak, but it has been very, very wonderful, and he's an incredible being. And he offers the flame of his heart to the Johannine Grove to anyone who wishes to join within this light focus. Certainly there's many others on the planet, but this is one that if a soul feels attuned to it, can offer a path for that soul's flight to light.
Would you say that that's the heart of the work of the Grove?
Yes, that is the true essence of the work of the Grove. We have a lot of information which sometimes is overwhelming to people. Other people just gobble it up like it's candy. But the true essence is what we call the Johannine vibration. That's what Thoth calls the Johannine vibration. And the Johannine vibration is the vibration of pure heart knowing, the awakened heart. And Rudolf Steiner spoke of what he called the Johans, which are the awakened ones, awakened in the heart. So as we move into the Johannine vibration, we no longer rely upon faith, but on pure knowing. We no longer believe there is a God, we know there is a God.
And the energy in the room just really shifts as you're saying that. Really deepens. It's very sweet. So what are the future and current goals of the Johannine Grove based on all that?
Maya, would you like to speak about the ongoing work of Temple Doors?
Yes. Well, our main body of information is what Thoth calls the Doctrine of Mysteries, and the name of the actual publication is Temple Doors. It's a quarterly, and each issue is usually about 40 or 50 pages in length. Obviously, it's quite detailed, and it is a study, but we encourage people to embark upon this study not so much in a mental way, but by allowing their heart to become connected to the essence of what is being said in this material, rather than getting too caught up with the words. That is our main focus, but we also are giving seminars now at times, workshops, and of course we have our regular ceremonies that we call matri Christian, or matriarchal Christian ceremonies that we do here at this beautiful altar, which are based on pre-Christian Atlantean Lemurian rituals that are really Christian in nature, because the ancients knew of the Christ in the earth and were preparing for his coming in a physical incarnation.
And I would add to that Temple Doors is the main expression of the information that Thoth is releasing to the world at this time from the records of Thoth that we spoke of. And as such, he also correlates it quite frequently with information that has been brought through back in 1973 by J.J. Hurtak of the Keys of Enoch. So we're quoting the Keys of Enoch, and we also refer to our past material, which goes back in terms of this particular publication all the way to 1980. So we have quite a reference library that's brought into the picture as we move forward. Some of our classes and workshops and initiations are working also with that information. We have begun to place this information into modules, I guess you could call them. The first one that we've formulated is called the Earth Genesis Workshop, Past, Present, and Future, and it speaks of the knowledge accumulated over the last 20-some-odd years from the record of Thoth that has been given to the Mystery School in terms of the whole genesis of Earth. And it takes a look at the macrocosm of our duality. So, again, that ties into this half-light, full-light spectrum and the orotron-metatron. And it is our contention that if we can understand the bigger picture in our daily experience and how it links, that we can actually open the pathways to healing that in a much more effective manner. The Matri Christian rite is something that, as Maya was saying, is brought forth from the pre-Christic times, and it's designed to recapitulate the true sacred inner mystery of what the Christian expression is about. Because even the rituals, the Mass ritual and so forth of, say, the Roman Catholic Church, they have had their problems, of course, but some of those rituals are steeped in the inner Christic mystery. The problem is that much of the true meaning of them has been lost. They were originally designed to correlate with solar, lunar, and cosmic cycles on the planet. There were energy portals of initiation that were open at certain times, and the Christian expression took advantage of this and offered specific ritual and rite at certain times of the year using specific colors in the vestments and whatever to help consciousness move through the portals of the zodiac and up the spiral. So each year you came through and you went through another level of initiation as to what that particular portal represented. So the part of the work of the Grove, the outward work, has moved into the place of being able to recapitulate that sacred inner mystery, and we created a unique ceremony which has its touch points in traditional Christian expression, such as a communion ceremony where we actually use sacred waters rather than a communion wafer. But we bring everybody present into this ceremony so that we're all placing the blessing into the water and we're taking deep communion with our inner spirit.
Is this something different than the sacred journeys that you hold? Or is this part of the sacred journeys?
No, this is very different than the sacred journeys. We also conduct initiation, and as part of our Earth Genesis seminar that we spoke about, there's one day of workshop and then there's one day of initiation. Now our sacred journeys, such as the one that we're about to embark upon in Egypt, which would be November of 97, will be a specific initiation, this one being called the Path of Horus as an example, that will take a soul into being able to call forth certain specific light code frequencies into their etheric bodies and be able to then work with them from that point on consciously to bring forth certain other aspects of knowledge that are part of the sacred knowledge of the earth into their consciousness frame. For some souls, these sacred journeys are a reawakening of the memory of their soul's past experience. And other souls, it may be a brand new touch point for that knowledge in their entire earthen experience. So they'll be both present. And we very much look forward to doing these sacred journeys. This is a pathway that's just opening for the work of the Grove now. We do also, from time to time, sacred work where, rather than being a highly organized journey, we will be actually just traveling together with a group of souls that feel attuned to the specific purpose that Thoth has outlined for that particular journey. So and it'll be a little bit more free-flowing. It won't be quite as tight as the actual initiations. It'll be more of a planetary service.
It all sounds so life-affirming. Open the path for a lot of miracles for many people, I'm sure. So if someone wanted to connect with you at a school or learn about the journey, what's the easiest way to contact you? I'm sure there's many.
Well, at the very end of the video, we'll be giving information in terms of the contact information, addresses, and phone numbers. And we have email, and we also have a website, and that information will be given there. So, we welcome them to contact us either through writing or give us a call. We're not always available, but we generally get back to our calls fairly quickly. And email is very nice. It allows us to interact in a way that works for us very easily. And we simply really welcome the heart interaction of other souls coming to make their touch point in the grow. We have quite a few souls from around the country and even in other countries finding their way to our doorstep here in the middle of beautiful rural Colorado. And it's been a very, very rewarding experience up to this point in being able to open and share the flame, the heart flame of Thoth with the souls that are being drawn in. It's painted this picture to us of how the flame has these many layers. Like if you look at a gas burner flame, how it has many layers. And as souls come into it, it's like they start drawing forth the pranic energy of life into the flame, and they become fodder for the flame, and it becomes brighter and brighter as time goes on. And then they continue moving toward the center and spiraling inward, and more makes room for more souls to be drawn in. So this is the vision that we share. And Maya, did you have something to add?
Yes, I just wanted to say that Thoth had requested that this video be made because he said, regardless of the information that we had in written form to give to people, that the video was a good way for people to have the heart contact, to have the feeling and the essence of what this was all about visually. And then they could make their decision at that point if they wanted to move into it in a deeper way.
Well, I can say, just from being here for the first time, that walking into a mystery school, everything in me completely let go and said, wow. I recommend that experience to anybody. Thanks for doing what you're doing and bringing forth the light.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here we are on the sacred land that has been donated to the Mystery School. Thoth calls this place Kalandara, which means the place of ancestral memories. Here we see the Great Sand Dunes National Monument with Mount Blanca in the background, the Hopi's second place of emergence from the underworld. In the foreground is the future building site for the Mystery School. Thoth calls this the matriarch tree. It's a 400 to 500-year-old juniper. And this is Crest in the Stone mountain, the anchoring point for Thoth's etheric retreat for surface earth souls. Here we are on Kalandara with our wolf Sha'Maia. She's 3 different types of wolves, which normally don't come together in the wild. She's a very loving being and very patient. And we have her as part of the Devic energy within the Grove Temple that we work with. We work very diligently with Sha'Maia to help bring her into full light frequency so that she's able to be a harbinger of light to the Devic kingdom. Come join us on a sacred journey to the place of ancestral memory, Kalandara, with the spirit of the wolf.
I am strength. I am the matrix that is the earth. I hold fire, I hold water in the palm of my hand. I am the earthenware from the potter's wheel of the sun that never cracks. The day is strengthened by my embrace. I touch the wind, and it becomes a whirlwind for the gods. You are the light, I am the crystal. Together, we create the world. The light that floodeth, banking near, doth move the sail to that shore. For all the giants standing tall guide the wayfarer through the door. These then, warriors of earth, who proclaimeth the passage of God, are the Davids of Goliath's fall, whose temple will once again arise, setting the course upon the forbidden sea to all who call Shibboleth, Shibboleth, gainest entrance unto thy hall. As of this moment my mind and body are glorified in his sight. The light of manifest wholeness is burning through my entire being, leaving behind the perfect flower of nature that knows no stain. This planet Earth is a beauteous bead of blue crystal on a cosmic rosary. My prayers, the prayers of all the Earth's souls, spin this bead with fingers of thought. As it spins, it becomes brighter and brighter, sending rays of light as signals of love out into the endless starseed.